Hey everybody, welcome to KM Reviews. I am Niddleman. Today I'm bringing you a 100% spoiler-free, don't worry, nothing's going to be ruined, review of the directorial debut of Jordan Peele, a movie called Get Out. Now before I get to the actual review of the movie, I had a little bit of a story about how I actually got into this movie, even though my scene ended up getting cut out. If you want to go straight to the review, jump to this timestamp right here. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my story with being on set. So, being where I live, I found out from my agent that, hey, I have the opportunity to be in a Jordan Peele movie in a featured extra role. If you're not familiar with what a featured extra is, it's basically somebody that doesn't really need to have acting experience. It's just someone that's in the movie that progresses the story in some way, but you have no lines. A normal extra is usually just the blurry person in the background. A featured extra, technically speaking, is supposed to be someone who's actually pertinent to the story in some way, but you just don't have lines. So I was supposed to play Officer Frosty. I was a police officer that, and again, this is not spoiling anything. It's in the previews to the movie, the trailers, where they hit a deer, okay? They hit a deer. They call the cops to kind of report what's going on. And basically me and this guy, Officer Ryan, pull up. He's the guy you see in the trailer with the bald head asking for the ID. Well, the scene that I was supposed to be doing that ended up getting cut out is this deer. They hit it. It's on the side of the road, or like in the forest off to the side of the road. He goes and questions them about the ID, and I walk over to the deer and I basically shoot it and put it out of its misery. And it's definitely not in the movie. I was a little bummed out. I kind of suspected something was gonna be cut out because I looked on IMDb and it suddenly went to uncredited as opposed to before it didn't say that. So I was like, oh, they probably cut my scene. And they did. It was a little bummer, but I was also supposed to radio over to them like, hey, are you okay? Because they kind of have this weird altercation with the main characters. But here's what I will say. Even though I was cut out of the movie, it was the first day of filming on set. I got to witness the very first day of Jordan Peele making his directorial debut. And I'll tell you what, he was on top of his game. He looked like he knew what the hell he was doing. He was very good at telling people what to do, what he wanted, controlling everything. It was also a very friendly environment. Even though I was a featured extra, which usually you get treated like garbage. I've been an extra before. I got my own trailer with my name on it. I got my trailers right next to the main stars. Daniel and Alyssa, who were on this movie, I spoke with them with a little crafty service thing. She had her dog on set, and I was playing with the dog. I mean, it really felt like this family environment that was really cool. And being on other movie sets that I've been on, they never feel like that if you're an extra. Usually everyone else is the cool kid club and you're like the pissant that's off to the side that you're just in the way. So it was really cool to see that aspect of the filmmaking world in terms of being an aspiring actor like I am. That was my first real hint of, oh, this is what it could be like. But again, I was sad that I wasn't in there. Anyways, now to my actual review of the movie. I will straight away give you my rating, which is girlfriend material. This is a very good directorial debut for Jordan Peele. Now, if you want to know why I give it that rating, stick around to find out. As far as the plot to this movie goes, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away, even by accident. So what I will say is the trailer does give a little bit too much away. The good thing is it's one of those things where you don't realize it's giving too much away until you've actually seen the movie. Going into it, you'll probably be just as open-minded as I was. I had no idea where it was going at first. I will say it was a little bit predictable. As far as the plot, though, without spoiling anything again, it's basically about this interracial relationship where the boyfriend's going to meet the girlfriend's parents. They don't know he's black, and stuff happens that I don't want to ruin. Now, while I will admit I'm a little bit biased because I was on the set of this movie, I will say the acting is top-notch. I mean, every single character in this movie, they do such a good job at subliminally sending these messages of what's going on, but you don't really know what's going on until the end. And the main actor, Daniel, man, there's that scene you see in the trailer where the tears are just going. Man, I don't know where he put himself in his mind when he was acting out some of the scenes in this movie, but it was really intense. He's one of those actors that you may recognize, but you're not sure where from. He was in movies like Sicario, and I think he's in one of the episodes of Black Mirror, which was actually a really good episode too. Also, one of those things that he's probably not going to get recognition for is just his accent. Because if you ever hear him talk in real life, he has a real strong kind of a British English accent. I think he's from the UK. Because when I heard him talk on set, he had an accent, but then when he's doing the movie, he does this English, like American version, and it's very unnoticeable, which is a very good pro status thing that a lot of us don't think about from like UK type of actors. But he did a really good job with his dialect. And honestly, just overall, the acting is just good. Bradley Whitford does a really good job. Catherine Keener, the guy who plays the brother, I think his name's Caleb Landry Jones, something like that. Oh, and then also Lil Rel something. The guy who plays the TSA agent friend in this movie is epic, man. He is so funny. He plays basically the movie version, encapsulating us as the audience. He's the one saying all the obvious things like, why are you doing that? Why don't you do this? Don't you fucking see what's going on here? And he's just saying all the things we want to tell the characters. And so it's cool to have that embodiment into a character saying those things. And he is a lot of the comic relief in this movie. But don't get it misconstrued. This is not a comedy. Even though Jordan Peele is known for his comedy, this is a horror film. It is more of a, although I would classify it more like a psychological thriller. At the end of the day, the story is good, while a little bit predictable, but it's okay because it's so well acted and the story is so well written. Everything about this movie was just good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The only real negatives is that my scene was cut and it was predictable. So at the end of the day, I really want you guys to go see this movie. Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. And also remember, you can subscribe to me and get updated reviews every single week. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much everything at Niddleman. And stay tuned for more reviews if you can handle it. Go.